How does that sound?
Weird.
1 2 1 2.
Yeah.
Check. Mic check.
There yourself. Yes. So we're here to talk about base jumping. The old school times. I mean, I was a part which I would call sort of old school, but then there's another level of old school, which is more the time you were in the sport, Poo.
When did you start?
So 96.
Oh, no, I would have been after you. 97. I did my first one.
Wait a minute.
No, sorry, 87.
Let's get
Our timers.
let's get this
Easy to
straight,
get
because
your
I'm
decades
thinking.
mixed up.
But I was jumping a Pooster, so how can that be?
Yeah, good point.
So yeah, how did it happen for you? How did you get into it?
Look, it was just started jumping, met a few of the boys on the drop zone who were Mooney seemed to be the in thing at the day. And I remember it was Greg Sucouski, who owns Parachutes Australia, myself, Kinko, who was part of this four-way team. And we were at this house in Parramatta learning how to launch, standing there jumping off the edge until we ended up heading out to Mooney and at 4 o'clock in the morning, the big COVID. Well, not COVID.
Covert.
Yeah, the big covert thing.
Did you get talked into it, or?
No. It was one of those things that, I'd seen every Carl Boenish video before I started jumping, that I could, jumping off El Cap on pogo sticks and skateboards and, the whole Carl Boenish thing. So that was kind of the inspiration for it. Mm-hmm. And probably because Dad didn't want me to do it, so I can't do it.
That always helps, yeah.
Yeah, so growing up on a drop zone like we all did, what was the vibe around base jumpers on your drop zone?
Look, I started at Wilton, so it was always, they were anti, it wasn't Elderslie. Elderslie was for it. Wilton was anti it. Mm-hmm. So being that sort of age, you had to go with the Elderslie theme and have a go. But always something I wanted to do, and especially because I'd seen the old videos and the early day stuff. So.
But you did your first jumps here, but then you pretty quickly went overseas, didn't you?
Look, it's funny. We'll do a quick funny story about the first one. Was did the first one off Mooney, and it just happened to be when we did it, there was a bit of a traffic jam sort of thing going on, and a Channel 7 film crew was parked on the bridge, so they filmed us jumping off. And then that night when I was at home, we were in the parents' lounge room sitting there watching the news, and base jumping thing comes on, and there's us jumping off the bridge, and the folks are like, "Oops, is that you?" I'm like, yeah, it is. So kind of busted on TV, really.
Classic.
Gotcha.
But,
What gear were you using?
2 to 8s then, S18s and 2 to 8s, or Meteors or whatever it was. Yeah.
And so who was mentoring you through that process again?
It was a fella named Kinko and another guy, or Greg Sucouski and a few others. I can't remember. There was someone else involved at that time, but I can't remember who it was. But they'd probably done, 2 or 3 or 4, so they were considered experienced.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Like for us, I had Wilcox, and I don't know, he had 40 jumps or something,
Greg Wilcox.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into that side as we get sort of more into the the timeline. But just interested still to go a bit deeper into that time of base, because there wouldn't have been that many people jumping at that stage. This is the early days.
No, like your Theos and your Carleys were kind of the gurus in our time. Mark Scott and there's a couple other guys there I can't remember, but Mark Scott, Theo, Carley. Oh shit! I wish I could remember. Dinesy was definitely one of them.
Yatesy.
Yep. Trevor Yates. Yeah, definitely. There's another one.
Yeah. Eros.
Yep. Now you make me remember. Yeah, no, they were all the gurus in the day. So,
yeah,
you kind of saw them doing stuff, and the buildings in Sydney and bits and pieces like that. Mm-hmm. And there was some random videos out then with Theo and that getting caught by the cops and all this kind of
the terrorist.
The terrorist. Yeah, where he lands right parachute.
But it's classic footage. So Dinesy gave me all that.
Oh,
footage
he's got that, has he?
Yeah, the French doco and
that
and all
is
that
unbelievable.
stuff. Yeah. I just love how they got the cops to do a whole lot of like outtakes afterwards. You know, coming screeching in their cop cars and looking up and had no sense of the storyline, but they just kind of like, I mean, the sport. No one knew about the sport, that it was even a thing. So. Then this brought you to obviously considering the equipment that was being used.
Look, at the time, so when I did start base jumping, there was that fella, Mark Scott, that I was talking about, and we both worked at Parachutes Australia at the time. So he was working, lining parachutes, and he started building his own base equipment, and that was the Velcro rigs, then. So before that, we were obviously always jumping sports equipment. Jumping S18s and bits and pieces, and you'd pack with all the little rubber bands and you'd rip a page out of the
yellow pages,
and you'd put that between your lines and stuff. So there'd always be yellow pages on opening, sort of sailing around. So, we were all jumping small, big pilot chutes with our standard sports rigs and slider down and all the rest of it. And then Mark Scott started building this base rig, this kind of Velcro one, and then he ended up travelling off overseas. So he pretty much taught me to take over and go on with it. So we built the we called then the urban RV, the urban recreational vehicle, and that was a tearaway Velcro base container.
Yep.
And we manufactured them at Parachutes Australia. They kind of let us, sort of, as long as we did it after hours.
Yeah.
They didn't want to condone it. And then that led to then building what became the Pooster, which I called it the urban. Oh, sorry, the rig was called the urban RV, and the urban system, and I called the original parachute the urban RV, but everyone named it the Pooster. But yes, but that came from, we were jumping. I was like, we've got to be able to build a parachute that is specifically built for base jumping, and the old man and the guys at Parachutes Australia sort of said, all right, if you think there's some money in it, then have a crack. So we did. We got an old 2-to-8/Meteor, and we modified it and put reinforcement tapes around it, bigger cross ports in it to inflate it quicker, and then we started coming up with this brake line system, because everyone was having 180s, and if you had a 180 or anything like that, then you were pretty much toast. So we went, well, how do we stop the thing flying forward so you can't run into it? So then we put extra brake lines across the back. And we did a heap of balloon jumps, like a heap of jumps off Douglas Park, just filming openings with different brake line settings and more upper steering lines on it. And then we did a heap of balloon jumps on it and ended up starting to build them. And we did sell a fair few at the time.
Yeah. How many do you reckon?
Probably 15 or 20, and that was, I'm not sure what the dates were, but that was, I found out later that obviously America, because I was talking to Dukes about it, but America was building canopies at the same time, but we weren't aware that they were doing a specific base parachute.
You still had your microcosm and things.
We did, that's right. We were just kind of, in Australia, where we must be doing it better than everyone else.
We just didn't have the communication lines as well. Like you look at Theo's thing, it's all letters, they're writing letters to each other.
Yeah, look,
that's how they're conversing with Carl Boenish and all of that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, look, I mean, that's where it came from, and that canopy was, specifically made for base jumping, and we were selling them and making them and changing them a little bit, and they were the in thing for a while. I wouldn't jump one now.
Yeah. I had one.
Yeah, did you?
Well, I had a Pooster. I had one with the free-flowing lines that were going at the back. I believe you only made 2 of those.
Did we? Right, okay.
And did you...
No, look, I can't. I do know what you're talking about. Oh, that's right, they were. They came from the inside when you released your brakes. They fly away brake lines, which was... We got that kind of theme off a reserve that used to be an American-made reserve.
Okay.
So you still had the same characteristics, because it used to stall really easy with the whole spread of the brake lines across the back. But the whole brake lines thing there was a couple of reasons behind it. The main one was to stop it surging on opening, and the other one was to stop it causing line overs, because we thought if we had extra brake lines that came closer to the centre, then there'd be less chance of this big sort of centre section which would pivot. The lines would have the flexibility on the outside of actually throwing themselves over, rather than if they were right in the centre, they just couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So there was a bit of a theory behind that. I mean, I don't know how many line overs did or didn't happen in that time.
Your Honour.
But there was a few concepts in there which I believe worked at the time, and it was kind of cool to be doing it. And but yeah, like I do know when we did Theo's Bucks Day jump, and someone gave me a Pooster, I'm like, I don't want to jump this after everything I've heard now. But that's after being out of it for 20 years. I'm like, come on.
I guess you're just using what you had at the time. Make it up
what
as
I
you
was
go along.
handed. Well, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gold. Yeah, I had a sorcerer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was what were the two names?
Linda. So I was Linda's rig.
Yep.
Linda.
But who designed it? Was that fella from Mike? Is it Mike?
I'm just trying to think. Having a brain mail.
Had you talked about the sorcerer in this?
No, we haven't really talked. I talked about it.
That's what really developed the sorcerer. Is what developed the skyhook. Essentially, that's where the whole skyhook system came from. What was his name? Marta was
Marta, yeah.
Marta and someone else, from Florida.
Yeah.
Maybe. Marta and...
they build base gear now, I believe.
Yeah.
Marta and Jimmy, I think it is.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I can't remember the other, but they were partners, and they designed this sorcery gear. I jumped one in America off a tower in Florida.
Yeah.
Didn't do the cutaway on it, as much as they were trying to encourage you to do it. But that base rig was obviously the first main and reserve style base rig, and was well and truly, ahead of its time. And that's pretty much where the skyhook came from, because they had the skyhook system on their base rigs with the free bag directly attached to the main. And then, then obviously from that came other stuff. But
the idea being on a base jump if you needed to.
That's right. So you had a slider down free bag square reserve that was directly attached to your main. So your main became a big pilot chute.
Yeah, right. That got adopted into skydiving. Isn't that
I did.
interesting how it works?
Absolutely.
I did a cutaway on it over in Glenorchy.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, with Chuck Berry. We were playing with it. I love it when I pulled it out and, reading the label, and it's like a gyro experimental. That was the reserve.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, what do we got here?
Yeah.
And my brother Dan, he had a Urban RV Pooster set up as well. But it was every time my canopy opened, everyone would freak out because they're like, he's blown 2 lines. He's blown 2 lines. There'd be the chip packet that'd come flying out, and then these 2 lines. No one knew what was happening with that thing,
Yeah, there you go. I forgot all about the flyaway brake lines.
Yeah, that's right. Because when I was going for my first jump, I was with... would you be able to shut that door, Gregor?
You can hear Holly from here.
Doesn't take much.
And he... it's a good sound. He was like, oh, just cut them off. And I'm like, whoa. Wait a minute. We don't have to reinvent anything here. Like, let's just figure out what we've got.
Yeah.
Because that was the same thing. It's like, what have we got here? Then, it was about getting a base rig. We got a couple. And then before we knew it, we're up in Brisbane jumping off a building, about to do a 2.5 second delay, but hadn't done any jumping before. It's on. So what were your thoughts on the evolution of the sport? In the 90s when people like Wilcox were coming through, and Dwayne, and where it was going from,
Look, obviously that definitely in those times when everyone was doing more aerobatic stuff. So I definitely thought that, 100% thought that, jumping off something and just clearing the object and opening properly and on heading, and that was, that's what it's about. It's about that kind of leaving the building, the thing. And I never thought that you had to add any extra complexity to it. There was enough going on. And definitely when Wilcox and Dwayne were doing what they were doing, I was like, temporary Australians, some, 50% of that's right out of that conversation. But, I really thought that they just didn't need to add to what was already there. But, whatever, that's what pioneers are made of, and that's how it kind of works. So I totally get that sort of philosophy. Where they went from there with the equipment, I mean, the equipment's obviously just got so good. Like, I look at it now and I'm just fascinated by how good it is and what an industry it's made. Like, it's just, people buy base equipment like they buy jumpsuits or buy skydiving rigs these days. You've got to have your base rig and you've got to have your skydiving rig. There's no sort
and then your onesie and your...
Oh, yeah, then you've got to have everything else to go along with it. That's right.
2 rigs in case you want to do 2 jumps.
Yeah. It's bizarre. And, I mean, look, it's just, again, it's evolution and all the rest of it. But for myself, I always found it was intense enough. I always had to do the nervous shit or the nervous spew. Yeah. Just simply jumping off without, like, if I was going to do a backloop, I would have thought, well, that would have been all over because I'm throwing a pilot chute unstable. But.
But that's saying probably for me, the generation you came from, hey? Like, it's always the next generation that wants to push it, go that next bit harder, go that next bit bigger.
Yeah,
you were probably going harder than the generation before you.
Yeah, look, maybe.
Or not going harder, but doing different stuff to what they would have done.
Well, it was just, it was evolving at that stage. Just, like you were saying earlier, you didn't do any taping off, or you were just doing, you were bagging off. Did you do any free fall? Like,
look, we did do, like, I can't remember what the first free fall was, but look, we were always static lining, and then from static line we went to bagging. So I made this because I used to do Douglas Park a lot because I was working at Sydney Skydivers, just doing the thing, so doing the instructor thing. So I kind of had it, and I lived in Campbelltown, so I was really close. So Douglas Park was like one of my local haunts, even when I was a kid anyway. So I actually static lined a schoolmate off there who'd never jumped before once. And,
how old was he?
I'd probably done 3 or 4 base jumps, and then we
Perfect.
went and static lined him off. And
I've got this, bro.
he did a stand-up. It was unbelievable. But, we ended up building this. I ended up building this direct bag system that you could actually pack it in your main container and attach it to the bridge. And I had 2 of them, so I would always go and do the jump. I'd just hook up the bag there, jump off, direct bag myself, land, get into my car, which was down the bottom, and drive off, go to the drop zone, jump for the day. Next day or the next day later, I'd go and unclip my other bag, put it down my top, jump off.
Right.
And just take my other bag with me every time. So I just always had 2 bags to kind of rotate through. But that was before taping off.
Yes.
And so it was always that, when we built direct bags, you used to have handles on the side of them as well, so you can get that real square, fast opening.
Yeah.
So that was kind of, then obviously taping off, like you drive past Douglas Park now, and there's, there's 20 kilometres of tape wrapped around that bridge.
It's definitely a good look.
It is.
What about you, Jed? Like, with the culture of base on your drop zone?
Well, it's definitely, like, you've seen it evolve, and it's definitely accepted. When I was growing up, it was definitely, it was known of, it was a thing, it was, but I was still probably around. Like, I remember being a kid, and Pete Wiley was jumping at our drop zone, and just hearing his stories, but it was definitely still a bit of a mythical thing. There wasn't, there wasn't the courses or anything like that. Like, you had to find a mentor, and so, and then I remember, obviously, then, the whole the YouTube thing all started, and then you just saw it sort of click into hyperdrive, and it's just sort of, gone into that next bigger, better back, whatever. It's just, whoa, it's just gone crazy. But yeah, no, I mean, it was always talked about. It wasn't taboo or anything like that. I remember definitely the older instructors, some of it was kind of why would you want to do that? Sort of why complicate it, why risk it sort of thing. And then there was other guys that didn't mind and they were totally with it. But yeah, I remember growing up with, as I said, Pete Wiley. He was a really good influence and talking about him, about his journeys and, what he did and, sort of, getting into it young and, burning out by the time he was 18. And I just remember that being all really good foundational kind of trying to learn a few lessons from him.
What happened with Pete? Like he started young, did he?
Yeah, well, he was in the early days. He was, I don't know.
He was definitely after sort of our era, but he was... he was
sneaking out of home to do base jumps and, instead of, pushing his car out the driveway so his parents wouldn't know. And
Where is he, a doctor in
Now
Darwin?
he's a doctor in Darwin.
Yeah.
He's studying med school and he was doing tandems down at our drop zone. But he's got some great stories.
Yeah.
I just remember his ethos of it and the way he looked at it, and that was really inspiring and definitely a good influence. So certainly wasn't taboo around the drop zone or anything like that.
What was your dad's thoughts on it?
He was, why the fuck would you want to do that? Initially, I mean, he did his 2 base jumps and, he was pretty ready to retire on that.
Where did he jump?
Brento. So he got talked into doing it at Brento for the World Meet, when they did the World Meet over there, and classic Doogs, as he does, manages to talk you into all sorts of things. And
Miff talks to you into other things as well.
That's
bit of karma.
It goes round. It goes round. And then, I guess, he's always had a bit of an open mind. When I expressed an interest, he said, well, fuck it.
That's to say the least.
Yeah. Said, fuck it, if you're going to do it, I'll come with you. So, sort of shows what he's, willing to open his mind to.
Yeah.
But he was definitely initially of the stage of, why complicate your life? He's always called himself a high wall, non-technical specialist. Okay. So that he knows that's what his pigeonholes hold himself to. But
that's gold. Yeah. So your first was with your old man? Yeah,
off the bridge, Twin Falls. So we So this is when we talked to Doogs obviously a bit, and he was looking to start up his school, and he put us in touch with Tom Aleo. We just did the Snake River base course down there.
Oh, okay. So you did a course.
Yeah, we did the course. So that was part of that generation when it was starting to become a bit of a, there was a way of doing it, and it was definitely becoming like recommended, like, hey, this is, we've got these schools, there's a way of doing it, there's a bridge, we take you for a week, you learn all these things. So the culture definitely changed, but I do remember as a kid, being completely different. Like it being, it was a little bit hush-hush. Someone had to mentor you. You had to find someone. You had to show that you were a capable skydiver, and you weren't just gonna.
Did you feel the course was a good thing?
I did. I got a lot out of it. I think like anything, it's you just don't know what you don't know, and what I got most from the course was realizing how big the world of base jumping was. It's not just get off and pitch and land a parachute. It's if you're launching off a building and you got a crosswind, which edge of the building are you going to launch off? And I remember being asked that question, going, what the fuck does it matter? And then Tom talking about, well, if you're dead air and you throw a pilot chute, it could go underneath your armpit, flying the other way. And I'm going, fuck, I never would have thought of that. Like that would just never have even crossed my mind. And then just being like, okay, well, this is why you do these things, so that you can learn how much you don't know. And then it's sort of, from my point of view, just kind of sets you up a little bit more for success. It doesn't fix everything, and probably makes it a bit more, mainstream and whatnot. And you're definitely teaching a lot more Muppets how to do it. But fuck, if you're going to have Muppets doing it, you might as well, guide them in the right direction. Yeah. So I had a good experience for sure. Yeah.
And what was like the standout sort of story of that trip? Because it went for a while. You were touring for a while.
Yeah, touring for a while. So we did the States trip. Don't know. I remember I Dad PCA'd me off, and then I remember being on the ground and being turning around and watching Dad jump off. And he's sort of just getting all prepped up, and then you just hear, because it was dead quiet, you sort of hear a bit, what was going on. He said, unconditional love. just jumped off. But yeah, I think he was definitely sweating it because Mum sort of sent us away, saying, "Hey, whatever happens to him happens to you."
Oh, I know. I think she said that to Holly too, didn't she?
Yeah. Funny story from that. So we told that story to Dukes. We were at the bridge, and he said, "All right, well, righto, let's get him a threesome." So classic Dukes.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, we had some fun. We ran amok. It was funny. We did a night jump over there, so that was good exposure. And Miff said, "Nah, fuck it. I'm not going to do a night jump. Don't need to do that. Daytimes for drinking, daytimes for jumping, night times for drinking, sort of thing, both." And but we said, "All right, we're going to do a jump." And so anyway, jumped off the bridge at night, landed all good. We were doing the walk out, and Dukes and him were driving back, and they were going drive down to pick us up. And just as we were coming around the corner, they'd obviously had a few beers, and Miff went onto the left side of the road, just sort of force a habit. And then all of a sudden, this car came up and fucking pulled up, and here he was, headlights to headlights of the cop car. So he gets out, and Duke says, "Don't worry, mate, I got this." Runs out, "Hey, mate, how you going? Sorry, don't worry about him. He's just a fucking dumb Aussie. Don't worry about him. He's all good." Oh, he's like, "All right, no worries. Just get off the road." So anyway, they go off and park off the side of the road, and then and Dukes just goes over and just, as Dukes does, just strikes up a conversation with him. All of us, this is how casual it was, we were in Utah, this apparently, again, so the story goes, this drunk guy comes stumbling off the road, and the cop shines a light on him and says, "Hey, what are you doing?" He said, my car's just gone off the road. I'm just going back to get my missus, and we'll come back, pick the car later. He says, "Righto, no worries, just don't hit anyone." So he walks off, keeps going. And so that's where Dukes went, "All right, well, this guy's pretty cool." So anyway, they could see us walking up the trail, and Dukes goes, "Hey, mate, do you reckon you could play a bit of a joke on, a bit of a practical joke?" I said, "Oh, yeah, all right, what do you want to do?" He said, "Oh, well, when they come out, do you reckon you could arrest them, or just tell them they're in trouble? They're not meant to be doing it." He said, "Yeah, all right, I reckon I could do that." So here we were, 5 guys, just kind of walking out. We were on kind of cloud 9, thinking we're top shit, 10 foot tall, bulletproof. We're walking out. And then all of a sudden we get up, and first thing you see is the cop car, and your hair's on the back of your neck going, "All right, but I know we're legal, we're good. I don't know what's going on." Always base jumping, you always feel like you're doing something naughty. And then you get the deer in the headlights, the torch comes on you, you say, "Hey, what are you boys doing?" So, just going for a jump, just a jump, had a good times. That's illegal after 9 p.m. in Utah. Sorry, what? They said, "Yep, that's a $6,000 fine. We're going to have to confiscate your gear, guys." What? just yeah. He's like, "All right, you guys get in the back of the car. We'll sort out this in a minute." And then just fucking no one moved, no one wanted to say anything, and fucking just get your boys. Don't worry about it. You guys got a beer for him? And then we just end up spending the rest of the night with this cop, just fucking drinking beers around the cop car. Fucking Utah, man, loose units.
That's like a good story.
Yeah, we had some fun.
But you've been helping and Dukes out a little bit there with some of the canopy courses and stuff like that.
Oh, we were talking about changing the scene. Jed was saying there about how it's accepted now. You got a sign on the board, a sign on the drop zone which talks about how to get into base jumping. You think, geez, if you did that 20 years ago or something like that, they'd shut you down.
Well, that's right. You would, back in the day, you'd lose your license, your skydiving license. Wade Orwood that jumped off, Centrepoint Tower. That's right.
In 81 or whatever, they took his skydiving license and everything off him for 2 years for landing on there and jumping straight off it.
Yeah.
But look, with Dukes, he's obviously running a good show over there, and it's very, what he's done and what he's doing is outstanding. And he put it forward to the drop zones, to basically sell his course as an option for if you want to learn to do it, and you do want to steer everyone in the right direction. There's it's structured now, whereas it wasn't structured before. So we've got a board up at the drop zone which tells you if you want to learn to base jump, this is the requirements, and he gave us the requirements that they want. and this is what you do, and if you want to do it, jump onto this website and they'll steer you in the right direction. And I think that's a good thing. And, obviously you see Dukes and what he does and how he does it, and the culture that he's brought into base jumping is that safety orientated, next level kind of scene.
And are you finding a lot of people coming to start skydiving specifically to base?
So in the questionnaire that we put out, that it says, why do you want to learn to skydive? It's wings. So it was always base jumping, and now it's wingsuiting.
Yeah.
So it's just
skydiving has a lot to thank base jumping for.
Yeah, that's right.
I think it's got a lot.
The whole, the YouTube scene has just sold the base jumping industry.
Yeah.
That's everyone wants to do it based on what they've seen. Whatever. Your money's all the same.
Absolutely.
As long as base jumpers always got to pay their bill before they go.
Get them in the door.
Never have a debt with a base jumper. Or debt with you.
So what was your last jump then, Pooh?
It was Theo's bucks. So I don't know, it'd be 10 or 15 years ago. That'd be 15 years ago, wouldn't it? Or I'm not sure.
That's when I broke my back 15 years ago. I think it was a little bit after that.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it would have been 12 years or something like that.
15. Yeah, so it was
15.
Oh, yeah, 12.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah, right. Well, so quite a span between that one and that one. So my one before, so Theo's was my very last, I'm pretty sure it was my last base jump. And the funniest thing that was probably, I just was not nervous on that one. It was actually quite enjoyable. And the crowd that was there was outstanding, having, Nick Fatiris and obviously Theo and Pedro. And, you're standing there with that crowd for this sort of jump. And we've got an unreal photo of it.
Carly, Sooty
was there.
Rats.
Yep.
Musto?
Musto was there, yeah.
Right.
It was pretty funny to have done that in that time. And before that, the last one was El Cap.
Wow.
So it was 95 was my last one, and then it was nearly 10 years till I did my next one, and then it was Theo's.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I pretty much retired on El Cap.
As you would.
Not a bad
you
one.
could.
Yeah, if you could. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So getting up onto El Cap.
There was a whole interesting exercise. We were in the US training, so it was Ridgy Didge, and what the Aussie 4-way team then I think was, I can't remember the name actually. I should remember. If they hear this, I'll be disappointed. But we ended up kind of had a little bit of collusion amongst a few of us in the team, and decided on our weekend off we'd sneak off and go and hit El Cap. And the airspeed boys had told us where all the stuff was stashed on top. There was a couple of sleeping bags and bits and pieces. So there was a bit of a drive from Arizona. I think it was 11 hours or something like that, or whatever it was. So we ended up, saying to everyone, "Oh yeah, we're just going away for the weekend," kind of, not saying.
So it would have been still a bit.
The team captain and stuff like that. There was a few of them wouldn't have been very happy that. Yeah. And we'd been at the end of a long training camp in the US, like a few months, like 3 or 4 months. So we'd spent a lot of money and done a lot of things, and we were going to France after that. So it was a kind of rider. So it was me, Johnny Mack, Greg McIntosh, and Wally. So he was in the 4-way team. So we all kind of shuffled off and did the big drive, everyone driving one after another to Yosemite, and then we had to go and find a hole. So everyone stashed you dug a hole in the woods, and you had plastic bags and all the rest of it. And we had no skydiving t-shirts on. Couldn't have anything that was skydiving. Did the big walk up there, slept there at night, and then got up the top, and we were all jumping our normal Talon rigs with our stilettos. Slider up the whole shooting match. Packed them at the drop zone at the end of the day, and she was a pretty funny ordeal, the whole thing. Like, I won't go into the whole length of it, but it was, there was me and Johnny Mack and Wally were the two jumping, and me and Greg Mack were jumping together, so we're doing two ways off there. Johnny Mack and Wally wanted to go first, or Wally wanted to go first, so he's like, well, we're going. We're like, all right, well, if you guys want to go first, you can go first. It's all good. No, we're chilled. We'll just stand here. And anyway, they're like, it's going on for a while, and it's like, we need to go, the sun's coming up. There's the Ranger's car, you had to watch the Ranger's car drive past when you saw the lights disappear off to the what it would have been the west there then or the east, sorry. Then it's time to go, and then me and Greg Mack are like, he goes, no, you guys go. We're like, all right, we're going. Right up. We're going. No, we'll go. It's all right, we got this. So after this went on a couple of times, me and Greg Mack are just like, we're going. We just ran past them.
See ya.
And it was just hilarious. We went running off the edge of El Cap there, and just, in knowing everything as I was a kid, from the Carl Boenish days and seeing Carl Boenish being the inspiration between my base jumping years, and then being there on El Cap was quite, I still probably put it down in my life as probably the best jump I've ever done in anything I've ever done, skydiving or whatever. And, we ran off the edge, and then I see Greg McIntosh went real head down, kind of went on his back, and I'm like, just no, track as hard as you can, arms out the side, hard as I possibly could. Yeah. Going, I don't even want to know what's happened to him now. And then next minute, he comes screaming past me, disappeared off, and opens, and then I'm like, oh, fuck. Anyway, we open, and next minute, we're both opening there, like that 1,400-foot mark when you pitch. And then he's got a 180 with line twist, and he's going back the other way past me again. I'm like, oh, shit, just keep looking forward.
The old stiletto, hey?
Oh, stilettos. Anyway, we landed down in the meadows there and rip your gear off, and the other two boys open behind us, not too far behind. And then we land, stash all our rigs in these plastic bags, put them in the dirt, cover them with leaves and everything. You just walk out. Did the thing. We weren't allowed to talk about parachuting or skydiving or whatever, and go on the thing and have a cup of coffee and have some breakfast, and everyone's just like, eyes are bulging out of their heads, and you can't talk about it. Fight Club. And then get the car, and we drive out when the park's full at 11 o'clock, throw the shit in the back and bail out. And then we must have driven out the gate, and I was like, I was reckon you were going that way and I was going that way. It was hilarious. So yeah, it was a good time. So that was the last one until Theo's bucks.
Yeah, well, I've been putting all the updates of what I've been up to on Facebook. We've got an Aussie B.A.S.E Facebook page. I don't know if you've seen that. No. But it got me in contact with a lot of the jumpers, the older jumpers and the newer jumpers. But Greg Penglis, he was one of those. And I told people that I'm talking to you today, and people asking if they want to add any questions. And he wants the stories about 2KY Tower and the radiation.
Oh, 2KY, yeah.
Did you jump that a lot?
2KY was that one in Sydney, Homebush area, wasn't it? Yeah. I did my first free fall off there, actually.
There you go.
And I did my 100th off there with Pedro. So Pedro and I climbed up there, and I was absolutely packing it. Absolutely, just, you go, this is my 100th, something's going to happen, I'm definitely going to have one. I did have one. Yeah, but it used to be the kind of favourite one for all us city people.
Yeah.
We were all jumping that all the time. So on my 18th base jump, I had a 180 off that one and smashed straight into the side of it, and I've still got a hole in my leg from it.
Fuck.
Yep.
By hitting it, not by
hitting it.
Yeah,
so,
the wires or
the. I ended up hitting the wires, but ended up having a 180 off it and smashed straight into it, slid down the face of it, trying to grab onto the whole thing.
Fuck.
And I used to wear a tertiary in those days too.
Yeah.
There was a couple of us that wore tertiaries, the little 20-foot roundies.
Yeah.
Sliding down it. Anyway, I was just sliding down, couldn't get off it. Anyway, I thought, fuck this, turned the canopy around, caught on one of the guide wires, and then swung into it, and I was swinging past. It was kind of one of those classic movie things. I'm swinging around, and the canopy's gradually tearing a bit, and I grabbed the side of it and pulled myself in, and we're all right, everyone's all right. But that was, I hit it on that one, and 2KY had a lot of stories. We Greg Sucouski and I who owns Parachute Australia, we jumped onto it once, and you had to used to stand on the ground and jump in one big jump to touch it so you wouldn't get electrocuted. And then Greg was halfway off the ground anyway. It threw him off, and there was this massive big spark just into his leg, and he was on the ground like like a fly, like fucking fully frying him, and you could smell burning skin.
Oh, shit.
We were like, oh Jesus, you got
The things you do for a thrill, eh?
So yeah, 2KY was I mean, we had that one. I seen someone tear the Velcro flap off the rig, and we were jumping in really windy conditions, and the canopy deployed out through the side of the that little cage that you would climb up in. And then on my 100th, I did my 100th with Pedro, and I was up there just absolutely just shitting myself, and Pedro's just talking you off like, it's all good, man, And I was the second person in Australia to do 100 base jumps. Mm-hmm. So Nick Vatiris did the first 100, I did the second 100. Yeah. And I just remember Pedro just talking me through it, and I eventually went. And I ended up only doing 125, so didn't do too many after that one.
Yeah.
So you did have a 180 on that one, or that one was fine?
No, I had a 180 on my 18th base jump, which was off there. And then still did I got back on the horse after that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that one used to scare me after that 180.
Yeah. Do you have any close calls, Jed?
Probably my closest call was when we were in Spain. The one time I jumped a small cliff. It was the my small cliff career. We'd just finished up in Norway, and I was sort of just travelling on my own, and a guy that we met, a Spanish guy we met up in Norway, I was just talking to him on the road, and he said, yeah, come hang out with me. He's in northern Spain. I said, sweet, no worries. And I was travelling around with my base rig, which was a fucking pain in the ass, lugging that one thing around. So I was hanging out with him, and he had a local bridge that we jumped a few times, and that was fun. And then he was obviously in this really isolated northern part of Spain, so no one to jump with, and he'd been sussing out this one jump that he wanted to do. And it was a cliff, and he was a bit of a rock climber, so he'd seen it a little bit. He sort of knew that it should be tall enough, and he was talking into it, and finally went, all right, fuck it, yeah, all right, let's do it. Like, let's go for it. I'm feeling pretty current. I was a little bit skeptical, like opening up a jump or whatever, and he was obviously the more experienced one, so I was like, sweet, I'm not going to be the most experienced person at exit point. So I remember Dukes telling me that rule, and I was like, all right, ticking that box. So yeah, we woke up at Sparrow's Fart, did this big sort of 4-hour hike all the way to the top. We packed slider down because we weren't sure sort of how high it was going to be. And then anyway, we got to the top and peered over the top and did a rock drop, and ended up being almost like I think it was like a 10 or 11 second rock drop in the end. We're like, oh fuck, this is heaps taller than what it is, but all right, anyway, we're packed now. Let's just run it. And so anyway, he was a bit emotional for him because he was doing it for a friend that died and whatnot, and we gave ourselves the high five, and he jumped first, and it was a beautiful jump. Sort of you slide it down, you open up, and then you've got almost like a 2-minute canopy ride all the way down this valley, and then you land on the road at the bottom of the valley. So anyway, he went, opened up, and then went down, and then you always have that the pre-jump jitters of like, fucking why the fuck didn't I go first? All right, no worries, this is fine, I got it, staying cool. And I remember talking myself around, it's all cool, I was going to wait for him to land, and then did do final checks. It was just going to be a go and throw, and these are just the stupid things that go through your head. But I remember being like, being on the edge, about to go, sort of, yeah, right, 10 seconds, and just I was in a really good state, like calm state, and going like, all right, yeah, fuck, this all feels good, feels really nice. And then just stupid things that go through your head that I had the thought that goes, oh, no, you're opening up a jump here, like this should be a bit more nervy, this should be a bit more, this isn't quite right, this doesn't feel right. And so just as I went to launch, 3, 2, 1, see it launched, I went, all right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to look down, because that'll really amp the jump up a little bit. And I remember looking down going, oh shit, and just fucking packing it. It worked. Fucking full pucker factor. And of course just went off stiff as a board, and just had like a 90 left. It was probably more like a 100, 110. And just seeing this fucking cliff ledge right in front of me, and I think it was just my skydiving instincts, just went straight for the toggles and wanked it around, and sort of just came straight past this ledge. And then, had about 120 seconds to give myself a good talking to. What the fuck were you thinking? Don't overcomplicate it. Just do the fucking jump.
Yeah.
Don't throw these. But it's just funny that what your mind goes through. When you're on the edge. And gave myself a bit of a talking to. But that was definitely my last low cliff jump.
Yeah.
Scared the shit out of myself. That's
But
for sure.
what about Pooh when you were starting to see the footage of like the go low competitions and Wallerman and all of that? Did you?
I've seen some of that. Yeah, look, I don't know. It's just they're braver than I am. They can do it.
Well, it's interesting talking to Tom Bejic about that and that time, because I was jumping with all those guys. I was there at all that time, but I didn't realise how technical Dwayne and Tom were being about it all. They're all doing all the high board diving. They were doing mathematical equations. They were doing what you were doing at Douglas Park, like throwing all kinds of rigs off and test dead animals. It's a whole roadkill section. But anyway, that wasn't definitely a crazy time, and it turned out the way it did for Dwayne, didn't it?
Yeah. Look, I mean, he was a good bloke, wasn't he? So he went hard, and that was going to be his life, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Short and sweet.
Yeah. Mm.
Ran hard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the hardest of the early ones, wasn't he? Really. I mean, Wilcox was. But I thought Wilcox was always a bit more calculated.
Yeah, well, no, I think it was hard for Wilcox because he was, he had that pioneering spirit, and he was going, he was leading a lot of us, in that direction. But then, Dwayne and him, there's a classic story how they met, was at the bottom of Bungonia, both doing solo jumps, and, he'd landed, and then next minute, Dwayne opens and lands next to him, and they're like, oh, you do this too. Cool. And then, but Dwayne took that, he took it to the next level, like with all the acrobatics and aerobatics and stuff. And then
skyboards.
Skyboards, that's right. You used to do a bit of that, didn't you?
Oh, not base jumping.
But that's because that was one of the...
You were a skyboarder.
Oh.
Yeah, back in the day, you were one of those.
You used to wear Reebok shoes too.
But were you doing that with Cunningham? Did you do the sky circle?
No, it was early days. Yeah. We won't talk about the sky.
That's my favourite part. Come on.
Well, Daniel Rowan was asking about your wingsuit technology, and what was he talking about?
Don't even listen to him. He's just taking a piss. Wingsuiters.
But were you doing any development in that side of things?
No, not. Oh, actually, I did jump the very first wingsuit in Australia, which was that one that John JK. Mm-hmm. JK built. Like JK made the very first wingsuit. We jumped it at lower light.
Yeah, right.
Back in the lower light days, boogies and whatever. And he made this homemade wingsuit after Patrick Yardion was right into it, and it was only a little thing, but we all had a bit of a go at it.
But it was all more for camera work, wasn't it?
No, it was a proper little wingsuit kind of thing. I mean, when you look at it now, you think, well, really, it was just a flappy jumpsuit. And we thought it went somewhere, but
all the sit suits. I remember sit suits.
Yeah, the old sit suits with the scoops on them.
But. And what was Holly talking about last night with the early days Jetman stuff? Were you doing Jetpack?
Oh. See, it's not base jumping, but
it's not. But what we're doing though, we're talking about your influence in the sport.
Ties in.
Yeah, it all ties in.
Look, I went to New Zealand and you talked about Chuck in New Zealand.
Chuck Berry.
Chuck Berry, yeah. So Chuck Berry was doing a gig in New Zealand, which was this flying this. They were trying to fly this actual contraption. It was called a skyboard. It was actually called a skyboard, but had fold-out wings and a tail and all the rest of it. So they were towing him up below a helicopter and dropping him and trying to fly this skyboard thing. Anyway, Chuck sort of just couldn't, he ended up bailing out of it a few times pretty early on in the piece. And so Gyro put him on to me to go and fly this thing. So I ended up going to New Zealand, and JK was there as well. And we ended up in Tekapo, and they turned up in this contraption that they strapped me into, laying into it, and it had these little fold-out wings and everything, and the helicopter picked us up and towed us up to 12,000 feet above Mount Cook there, and you were just dangling below this helicopter in this little jet, in this, not jet thing, but this little skyboard fold-out wing thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'd done a fair bit of aerobatic training before that, so I had a bit of an idea how to deal with stuff. And anyway, they dropped me from this helicopter, and the thing spun around and went all out of control, just the same as it did for Chuck.
Mm-hmm.
But when it was inverted, I stayed with it and didn't cut away straight away, whereas Chuck kind of jumped out of it all the time. Just, you know, I get it. You know, it was fucking terrifying. So, but I was thought, fuck, I've got to hang in there. They got me all the way over here. I've got to hold on a bit longer. So I did. I ended up hanging on a bit longer. But what happened was when you're upside down, the thing flew properly. Mm-hmm. And
counterbalance from the bottom?
Well, because the tail was all shielded from when you were sort of sitting upright. So when I was upside down, I could fly it, and then you'd flip it back over and it'd spin around again, and then upside down it'd fly straight. So anyway, I ended up jumping out of that. You'd land in the thing and open under a little parachute and land there. So they came back to Australia. Then a couple of months later, 3 months later, they went over back to New Zealand and they'd changed the things on it. We went and did it again a couple of times, and it went unreal. Yeah, it was like flying around in this little kind of contraption. And eventually on the last one, they didn't connect the static line to my leg. So when I jumped out of it, bailed out of it to open my parachute, and then he'd had a parachute to open, as soon as you jump out of it, you pull the little pin and its wings would fold up and everything. Well, its wings folded up because they didn't connect the static line to me. So I jumped out, its wings folded up, so it was just a big dart. And I opened and I'm like, Jesus Christ, what's that noise? You hear this, and this thing just went, whoa, straight past. Hit the ground and just exploded.
That was the end of the gig.
That was the end of the gig. Well, we ended up going to America to try and do it at this show called PACCAD, which is like a big military show. So this New Zealand company took us to America, me and JK, and that to do a demonstration for it at this big military convention. And they saw it, the Americans, and went, not a chance you guys are doing that. You're not taking that. No. You're not flying that thing in front of anyone over here, because it was just. It wasn't. It was a joke.
Yeah.
It was a Kiwi
ingenuity.
It flew like a Kiwi. So yeah, pretty funny.
Oh, that's classic. What about the Mustang? Was that another canopy that came out of what you guys were doing?
No, I think wasn't the Mustang US, I think.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or people are just making shit up.
Yeah.
That happens.
Oh. So what else about the older days of jumping that you can remember?
It's funny, we were going on about, you know, jumping in the city, which I always remember in the early days of jumping in the city. Early days, I say my days, but, you know, they were obviously earlier than that. But Grosvenor was the place to jump, you know, and we were jumping off a few other bits and pieces, Gateway Building and whatever. Arnie, did you when Arnie went in off Grosvenor?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that was a big one, that one.
Yeah, what was that story again?
Yeah, so there was me, Mark Coots and Arnie all jumping off Grosvenor one night, and anyway, it ended up, it was a bit windy up there, and, you know, we were a bit umming and ahhing about jumping it, and Grosvenor was a really nice jump because you had the real corner piece, and it was 550 feet from memory, and you land down the bottom, nice back streets there next to the Harbour Bridge. And anyway, we wouldn't jump, and Arnie's like, fucking, oh, come on, you pussies, fucking, oh, fucking go. Anyway, he charged past, and off he went, and bang, has a 180, hits the fucking tower, hits the building, hits every fucking thing on the way down, all the window ledges on the way down.
Yeah,
anyway, we've just gone fucked if we're going. So we've hightailed it down the bottom, and then we cannot find him anywhere. You know, we cannot find him. We're walking around, we're asking taxi drivers. We end up calling the police to see whether he'd been arrested and all the rest of it. Anyway, what had happened, he'd gone, when he'd hit everything, he'd fallen right down this crack of this walkway area, and he'd busted everything. His hips, pelvis, arms. He was just discombobulated. And we just could not find him for the life of us. And then an ambulance turned up later on. So someone walking past going to work a couple of hours later found him, massive pool of blood. And they said, oh, yeah, who are you looking for? And we're like, oh, look, we're looking for a friend. What was he doing? We're like, oh, he was jumping off the thing And anyway, they're like, oh, he's down there. Better identify him. We're like, holy shit. Anyway, he was just a messed up bit of gear, so they took him to hospital and all the rest of it. And then we had all the news crews out front of the house where we were staying in the morning, because filming the whole thing. But you know, that was a bloody hairy time those times. And but jumping in the city was a really cool thing, because there was formation loads going on. We were on one building and we're all standing up there and we hear this crack, like crack. There's another one, canopies opening at 3 o'clock in the morning off another building. And there's us, and we're like off the other one.
That was Theo and Carly.
We were on. I think they were on Grosvenor, and we were on Gateway.
Yeah,
and you could just hear the sound of parachutes at 3 o'clock in the morning opening on different buildings. It's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing.
The city jumps were unreal. Getting. I think Theo and Carly, we were sitting in there hiding behind the shadows at nights, the security guards wandering around and running up buildings, and good times.
Bloody oath. Did you do any buildings, Jed?
What's that? No, I never got the building in the end.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet.
No, not yet. It's still on the list. But no.
Yeah.
No.
Is there stuff in Adelaide you can jump?
There is. There's the I think it's the Westpac building, but
bank,
the bank. Sorry, but it's getting tighter and tighter.
Getting hard.
Yeah, there's a few cranes about, but when they're building, but they've got it more and more on lockdown, unfortunately.
What do you got? Bridges there and.
Nah, we got there's a power tower up north.
They don't have much. That's why he's here.
Fuck all. Yes, Radelaide, mate. Radelaide. And there's apparently a couple jumps up in the Flinders that I've gone and just been GCO for and watched them do.
Yeah.
Just a small little cliff up there. Beautiful spot up in the ranges.
So they don't have heaps of jumps over there, like?
No, there's a bit around. What else? There's a dam wall that's pretty low and dirty. But
don't do them anymore.
No. Radelaide, just as Radelaide. There's a bit around, but they have to work for it. That's for sure.
Yeah. I'm surprised how many sites are opening up nowadays. I think there's 21 in the Blue Mountains or something like that. There and.
Yeah, when you fly around it, like I was flying back the other day from somewhere, and you look at some of the cliff sites which are out in the middle of nowhere, and you just go, holy dooly. I mean, big canopy rides, but like you can certainly static line off them or whatever, PCA, whatever you call it. But a big canopy rides, but there's lots of good ones there.
I enjoy those jumps, just fucking when I remember Brento just opening up high and just flying along the cliff face, and there's a lot to that. I fucking love those jumps.
Yeah, definitely. Most of them, like we're seeing Shea Biles opening a lot of sites, and they're all just, a couple 100 feet, beautiful little locations, little cliff jumps and heaps of towers. But I mean, the mountains was really opening up really in the 90s there when fielding was, discovered the overhang.
The overhang, yeah.
And then there was the landslide, and there was just a continuation of sort of crew going up every weekend.
Is Bungonia still a big thing?
Yeah, it's definitely still a big thing.
I reckon it gives me the heebie-jeebies, that one.
Yeah.
Too many people have died off there to that one.
Yeah, in all kinds of circumstances.
Oh, totally. Shane Revitt.
Yep.
Falling off his rope, filming.
Yep. And then, how does that happen?
Well, he was filming us the day before we went and did a jump off there, and he was abseiling down, and then the next day he was doing a practice run again and went off the end of his abseiling rope, and he was a base jumper / skydiver. Don't know how it happened. There's a bit of a conspiracy theory behind that, but I won't get into that. And Torben after that from Victoria. Torben.
He was with Chuck and Fem.
Yeah. And then Joe Shaw. Joe Shaw was another one.
Yep. Tarn bounced down he had a 400 feet or something like that just down the wall.
Yeah, right.
Bungonia.
Yeah, she's fucking...
Came out of it.
She gives you the old heebie-jeebies, that one does.
Yeah. You've seen the 9-way and the 11-way footage?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done one off the top and one off the bottom of that.
Okay.
But, Yeah, I won't ever do another one. I haven't flown through it a few times. But
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
No. I'm going to say next time you do, you're going to whack a GoPro on there.
Well, we actually flew
Or not.
past once and Carly jumped off while we flew past. We had it all timed up. Because we used to have the drop zone at Maroolin for a while, and all the base jumpers would come and pack at the drop zone in the in the morning or whatever, or the afternoon, and then go and do Bungonia. It was only 3 miles away. So, the boys, everyone would always be packing there, and then so they'd time it, they're jumping off as we'd come flying past in the plane.
Fuck yeah.
That's
Allegedly.
tight. Allegedly. Oh, that's great. So you did quite a bit of stuff with Carly and Theo?
Oh, not heaps, only random little things, a few buildings, and mostly buildings, they were definitely the city boys.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Carly taught me that aspect of the jumping, Yeah.
Yeah, Carly'd walked the walls of Grosvenor before.
That's right. Yeah, he said that. He walked on the...
Walked across the front of it.
and legal jumps. Did you do any of the legal jumps?
No, I never did any. Not like the ones they did with Nick and that.
Yeah.
Or plus the
Pepsi
stuff.
and all of that stuff, as well. Yeah.
No, they were ahead of their time, the old Thomases.
Yeah.
Don't tell them that.
But they, they were part of... so far, I've counted 6 Bass brothers in the sport over the history. The Liz, Brendan.
Wow. And you guys?
Yeah, then us, Carly and Theo, the Mario brothers in Tasmania, the Gibson brothers, Soot and Al.
Yeah.
Brother Al, he did a few base jumps as well, so they're another set of brothers. So that's a pretty interesting part of the story, the timeline. So 4 decades the sport's been going for now.
Has it? Who did the first one in Australia?
Let me
Come on, you should know that.
find that. I should find that on the thing.
Pressure's on.
Yeah. I should know it. And it was 81, and it was the Harbour Bridge.
Oh.
Hilly, no.
No. What's his name? Ray Gilmore.
There you go.
Ray Gilmore.
Yeah.
Yeah. He went in off there, punctured a lung.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, that was on the protest or something that was going on the Harbour Bridge. He jumped off it with a roundie.
Yes.
And or the triangle parachutes. The shit, what do they call it? I can't think of them.
Yeah.
Thunderbow. He jumped off there with a Thunderbow, I'm pretty sure, and ended up hitting the water real hard and puncturing a lung. So Ray Gilmore.
Yeah.
That's him.
Yeah. And did you get the bridge?
Yep, did the Harbour Bridge. Yeah, did it from under the walkway. We used to.
Oh yeah.
We used to climb down the train. Yeah, we were doing it. We just jumped underneath the. You walk down the railway track and go underneath and just static line off the bottom and land on the. It was low. It was like 150 feet or something.
Yeah.
And we'd just land on the side of the walkway there.
Yeah.
And then they put the big. I think they put the big barriers after that, or could you come?
Yeah.
Yeah, did the Harbour Bridge.
Yeah. And that's good, yeah. And then, what about with Pete Fielding? What were some of the other adventures with Pete?
Oh, look, did a couple with him. Always entertaining, as you can imagine. The cockroach, he'll never die.
The cockroach.
He'll never die. No, he was, not heaps, but that I'll never forget him talking me off on that 100th. Like that was pretty funny. I'd more experience, but he was just Pete. Ace cool.
Yeah.
Cool, calm, collected.
And I did that. I did one with him where we were. I'm pretty sure it was a building in Sydney, and the security guard ended up harassing the shit out of us. And I think it was him standing on the edge, going, "I'll jump if you come any closer." And don't do it.
Yeah, it was like
a couple with him. Couple we had to climb over the edge of something, which was just terrifying. Over a balcony to hang off a building. To do a, all completely sideways kind of launch, and Pete just nothing fazed him.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Sounds like Pete.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely impressive, especially when he was getting into his, his back loop stage or his back gainer stage. Everything was a gainer. It was like MLC and all these. They weren't pretty. They weren't pretty gainers, and especially with the camera helmet. That would always kind of like throw you off your balance, and if you over rotate and then sort of start backsliding into the building or whatever. But yeah, he just kept going. Yeah, take a piss. Yeah.
Talk amongst
Oh
yourselves.
yeah, always talk about you.
That's good. Do you need another beer, mate?
Another beer.
Yeah, that'd be good, buddy. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Whatever's going, yeah.
Yeah, while you're down there, you're right.
Good stuff, eh?
Yeah. All fun and games.
We'll wrap it up in a sec.
No worries.
This goes this long. But it's hard not to sort of go into that sort of the skydiving realm as well, because it's so influential in the sport and where it's brought base to today.
Yep.
But
Oh yeah, absolutely. They get the two go hand in hand with each other.
yeah,
Really.
yeah, they do. Yeah, and the same too. We've just like, who was it with Jeff Weatherall, and I was with Mark A. New. You know, the first two guys that contacted me. One's a Kiwi and one's a Pom.
Mm-hmm.
You know, on the Aussie B.A.S.E stories. You know, and then I'm like, well, of course, you know, if you're hardcore enough to jump Australia and be like proficient and current, you know what I mean? You've got your part. You got your part in the story.
Yeah.
And so that started getting me thinking about all the other imports that have come through, and there's been some classic crew. Like Chuck Berry came to Australia when he first came. He was in a neck brace. Yeah, I'll grab one of these.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah. He was in a neck brace. He'd fallen asleep on his motorbike and hit a tree.
Actually, where's the Chris?
Yeah.
Well,
Not much longer.
The oh, she's sitting next to you.
Just
Sounds bizarre out in this normal world now without those things on. Yeah, I tell you what, that Trevor Yates was a sad loss, I reckon. Fuck, he was a good guy.
yeah. Let's talk about that. We'll wrap it up in a sec. We'll finish it off.
Patient, should be done. Maybe handed 80 on.
Wow. Yeah. It's like skydiving these days, 80 just...
Yeah, you can you smash them out.
You know, you look at Theo, when I was reading his logbook there, he's done 50 odd. You think, fucking 50.
But he worked
But
for
that was
50.
50 in the old days, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you work for those 50.
You do work for those 50. Completely. And so you spent a bit of time with Trevor?
Yeah, Trevor Yates was just a bloody good bloke, you know, like a nice guy, and you know, it's a sad one to see go like that, because he was an old school kind of good fella.
Yep. But he was very old school, very using all the old school gear
Oh,
still,
absolutely,
and,
you know, yeah, he was. He lived up in the hills up there.
Yep.
Did what he kind of did, and Trevor always did. I mean, he was always on the edge of everything he did. He was pretty brave, you know. I'd say not necessarily calculated as opposed to brave, but yeah, it was a sad loss, that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, when you do lose some of them, obviously the era, but yeah, when you do lose some of them, you kind of go, oh, that one I expected because he's a dick. But
Yeah, yeah. Greg Penglis was saying that that's what got him back into the sport.
Yeah,
Was
right.
when Yatesy went in, he was like, shit, I'm using the same gear. You know, I got to pick up my game here if I want to do this again. And he got in contact with Slim, and maybe I think it could have been Ferrell even. But anyway, they just sort of mentored him then into the next, you know, phase of his jumping, and he's still jumping today. So
because Slim's not around anymore, is he?
No.
No, that's right. He was.
Slim went in China,
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
wingsuiting buildings.
so that's right. I do remember
I
that.
don't think many people are doing that anymore.
Not very good anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I was saying before, it's like 4 decades of the sport. Where does the sport go to from here, do you think? Where do
I
you
know,
see
this
it
is one
going?
for Jed, I reckon.
Why would I know? Where does the sport go to from here? I think it's like anything; it's always going to evolve. You know, and if it's always, when you look back on things in hindsight, it's always easy to see how it got to where it is today, but I think it's always very difficult to forecast where it's going to go.
True.
That's a very politician answer, isn't it?
I'm evading, aren't I? I'm dancing around it. Look, I mean, I'm obviously coming at it from a skydiving point of view because that's my bread and butter. But I think if it is going to continue to evolve into the sport that it is, then the future is definitely training and education, which you can see that the sport is doing kind of. Internally, it's already kind of happening with the courses that's going on in the ABA and everything like that, which is really awesome to see. I remember Dukes calling. I remember Miff telling me about it because this is a bit of a moment in his time because he's always telling Dukes, hey, what are you guys going to do? You need a bit of an ethos. You need to look after each other, sort of thing. And Dukes like, nah, fuck that. We're not having any rules. Fuck that. Fucking we don't need it. Fucking we can control it all under control. We don't need Muppets. Yada yada yada. And then it was only, I don't know, maybe 12 months ago or maybe a bit earlier that he finally made the phone call to Miff and said, all right, look, I've listened to what you said and I think we actually finally need to have some rules, and I think everything does need to have some rules. It's
boundaries.
Boundaries, and it's just rules to live by maybe, or lessons learned. And they've been learnt in blood. They've literally been learnt in blood.
Yep.
There is one way of doing things, and there's another way, and especially as the sport gets more and more known, and at the end of the day we know there's fucking no short, there's many awesome people that know their boundaries and know how to do it, but for every one awesome person there's fucking 9 other Muppets that are coming along behind, and not say hey, we all start out like Muppets as well, we all start out not with our eyes shuttered and not knowing fuck all.
You don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know, so yeah, I think it will. I'd love to see it. More education and more training people up, and I think it will get to the point that there will have to be some sort of overarching kind of framework. Yeah. But again, I'm a tadpole in the whole fucking in the whole swimming pool. So
the fact that Duke has to take this. The fact that Duke has to take it overseas, and Gary Cunningham had to take those events overseas.
Yeah.
You think we'll get anything legalised here?
Legalisation's the answer, but with legalisation comes responsibility.
There's a lot more rules and regulations then, isn't there?
Yeah, but it's the rule with anything. If you make anything illegal, it's going to be done under the carpet, and it's generally done worse. We know that with all sorts of things. So
dark web.
Yeah, exactly. So
can you get base gear on the dark web?
I don't know.
Probably you can get also
buy it with crypto.
You can get things delivered with you, basically.
Yeah, that's right.
But look, where's it going to go? Who knows? That's for the current generation to. It'll go the way it's going to go. But
well,
there's
seeing
plenty of good people leading it. That's for sure.
Seeing people like Shay, up there in the forefront, and he's doing the suspension base. Do you see
what's that? No.
It's when you hook the risers into your skin. You piercing the thing and then.
All right, you've said enough.
I mean, that to me is pretty next level.
It just fascinates me that you've got to go to that extent to get out of it what, I mean, it's really a show now. When you're doing anything like that, it's a show, isn't it? It's not really you're not doing it for your own satisfaction. But
there's always going to be that element of the person that pushes
there's no doubt about it. I don't disagree with we all need those kind of odd things to make us watch YouTube. But for what you personally want out of it is everyone's different. But the base jump itself, or what it is, and it's that jumping off something, an object, and fucking surviving, really.
Getting away from it. Getting away from it. Yeah.
It's like how much more complicated do you want to make it? And I believe with the equipment and the systems and what's going on and the techniques these days, if we would simply survive if we just didn't do all the added stuff in order to pretty much.
But where's the fun in that? You know, like
Oh,
that's
look.
the thing. You know, like in terms of like you look at it from a
Absolutely,
skydiving
like
point of view,
I've-
we could all just do solos and just jump out, but it's
Yeah.
always going to be.
Oh, I mean, we're very creative on how we can kill ourselves.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it comes down to. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
shit, we can, it's like skydiving these days, fatalities just aren't low turns, no, low pulls or no low turns anymore. It's got to be something complicated for a fatality, with the tandems and what's happened in the past few years. It's just not, it's almost that safe that you've got to be,
do a series of
you've got to do
things
something seriously wrong to make it happen. But the base equipment, I think, is just, it's outstanding now, isn't it? Like it's keeping up with its skydiving equipment.
Well, and it'll probably go the same way as skydiving, right?
Yeah.
Where it's no longer going to be the equipment that's going to fail; it's always going to be operator.
Yeah, that's right.
That's generally what it does come down to. Yeah.
Fools are innovative; they'll figure anything out.
Well, yeah, this has been a great chat. Is there anything else that you're thinking about? Any stories that you can?
No, man.
Come on, Jed, you must have a few.
Oh, fuck, as I said, mate, I'm a fucking tadpole. I don't know fucking 4/8, 4/9 of fuck all. Fucking.
Any questions for Pooh?
Any questions for Pooh?
Be careful.
How many bridges have you flown under, mate? No.
Cross that bridge.
No. I said it's good. There's lots of stories out there.
Yeah.
So,
I think there's obviously, like now that you've, brought this up, I think it'd be definitely worth listening to some of the other ones. Obviously having the opportunity to talk on this is appreciated, and the opportunity to listen to all the other stories and I really would love to listen to some of those stories of those guys that were pre-me.
Oh.
Because I think they hold the key to the amazement of what they got away with in their time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The history fascinates me.
Yeah.
From the pre.
Yeah.
Yeah. They laid the foundations, didn't they?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, fantastic. Well,
And you don't have to listen. There, you just got to watch all the other shit.
Yeah. Just sit back.
It's all
and
posted.
sit back and watch
It's the
show.
stories that they tell beforehand are the
Yeah.
interesting ones.
Yeah, well, I've got all this documentation through Theo and like I said, Dinesy, and so I've got so much work to do just going through these old stories because there's letters from Marilyn in there and because Theo was dating Marilyn at the time when that all happened, and so yeah, and it's good. It's good hearing these old stories. It's good seeing you get come to sort of a life a bit with remembering some of these things and the history is important. It's a story, it's our story, and it's time that it sort of gets documented and heard. So really thanks for coming along and being a part of it.
Oh, pleasure.
You too, Jen.
Glad I can hang along for the ride. I can heckle from the background. Thanks, Adam.
All right, see you.
See ya.